Have you ever trusted something that felt so solid, only to watch it change faster than you were ready for? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have everything, yet still live with a quiet fear that never leaves? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to walk through a story about beauty, power, and the invisible panic that hides underneath both. We will follow a character who believes these two things can keep life safe. Then we will watch life teach a different lesson, not with cruelty, but with clarity. Along the way, we will explore awakening, wisdom, cause and effect, compassion, practice, and the kind of maturity that does not depend on appearances or status. Here is the truth we will keep returning to. It feels simple. Beauty can open doors, but it cannot guarantee peace. Power can move people, but it cannot guarantee love. Both can be useful, both can be enjoyed, but if you cling to either as your shelter, you will eventually feel threatened by time, by change, and by the shifting hearts of others. The real shelter is inner cultivation. The real protection is wisdom and compassion in daily life. There is a teaching often associated with Hongyi master, a reminder that is sharp in the best way. External glory is not your final home. Your face, your title, your influence, your applause, all of it changes. What remains is the quality of your mind and the virtue of your actions. In Buddhist language, what follows you is karma, the momentum created by what you repeatedly do, say, and think. In everyday language, what follows you is the person you become. Now let us enter the story. Her name was Vivian. That was not the name on her birth certificate, but it was the name the world gave her the moment it realized she had a kind of beauty that caused rooms to turn their heads. Vivian learned early that attention could be a currency. She did not plan it. She did not even fully understand it at first. It simply happened. In school, teachers were gentler with her. Classmates tried harder to impress her. But adults praised her in a way that carried a hidden message, as if her face were a promise of a bright future. Even when she was shy, even when she did not speak much, the attention kept arriving like wind filling a sail. There is nothing wrong with being beautiful. Beauty is one of the many forms of impermanence, a temporary arrangement of features, light, health, and youth. It can be enjoyed like a sunrise. The problem begins when the mind confuses sunrise with ownership. The problem begins when the mind decides that beauty is not something you have, but something you are. Once that happens, every change becomes a threat to identity. Vivian did not realize she was forming an attachment. She just followed the path that seemed natural. She became skilled at presentation. She learned which angles made people respond warmly. She learned which clothes made her feel safe. She learned the subtle art of being admired without looking like she needed admiration. Then came the second pillar of her belief system, power. When Vivian entered her 20s, she began working in an industry that rewarded confidence, networking, and image. She started at the bottom, but she rose quickly. People wanted her on their team. Clients trusted her. Leaders remembered her. She learned that the world often treats you better when you appear valuable. Again, there is nothing inherently wrong with success. The problem begins when the mind turns success into a substitute for inner stability. If your nervous system only calms down when you are winning, you will become addicted to winning. And addiction is not freedom, even when it looks glamorous. Vivian met a man named Adrian at a private event in a hotel ballroom. Adrian was not handsome in the way magazines prefer. He was handsome in the way power becomes handsome. He had money, connections, and a calm voice that never hurried. When he spoke, Other people listened as if they were receiving instructions from reality itself. Adrian noticed Vivian the way a collector notices a rare object, with a smile that looked kind but felt assessing. Vivian felt flattered, not just flattered, chosen. It was a familiar feeling with a new intensity. The chosen feeling is one of the most intoxicating experiences for the human heart because it promises safety. If I am chosen, I will not be left. If I am chosen, I will be protected. If I am chosen, I will not have to face emptiness alone. Vivian and Adrian began a relationship that looked perfect from the outside. He invited her into rooms she never could have entered alone. He introduced her to powerful people. He spoke about the future as if he could purchase certainty. He bought her gifts with the casual ease of someone buying coffee. And Vivian, without realizing it, began to treat him as a fortress. Beauty and power, together, felt like armor. At first, it was thrilling. Vivian felt that she had solved life. She would never be ignored. She would never be unsafe. She would never have to struggle the way ordinary people struggle. She would glide through life. But the mind always creates a hidden tax. The tax of attachment is fear. Vivian became subtly anxious about maintaining her image. If she gained a little weight, she felt panic. If she woke up with tired eyes, she felt panic. If someone younger entered the room, she felt panic. She did not call it panic. She called it staying sharp. She called it being professional. She called it self-care. But beneath the language, it was fear of losing her shelter. And Adrian, for all his charm, had his own attachments. He was attached to control. He was attached to being admired. He was attached to always getting what he wanted. He liked Vivian when she made him feel powerful. He liked her when she enhanced his status. He liked her when she fit into the story he told himself about his own greatness. This is where cause and effect becomes visible. When two people meet from attachment rather than wisdom, the relationship becomes an agreement of needs rather than a communion of hearts. It can still look beautiful, but it is fragile, because the moment the needs shift, the bond weakens. Vivian began to notice small changes. Adrian became less attentive. His texts became shorter. His compliments became less frequent. His interest became conditional, tied to how well Vivian performed the role he enjoyed. Vivian responded by trying harder. She invested more into her appearance. She smiled more. She laughed at jokes that were not funny. She learned to keep the atmosphere light because tension felt dangerous. She became a professional at smoothing over discomfort. This is a common pattern in human suffering. When the attachment is threatened, the mind tightens. The tighter it becomes, the less free you feel. The less free you feel, the more you perform. The more you perform, the less you can be loved for who you are, because who you are is hidden behind the performance. One evening, Vivian attended an event with Adrian where a woman named Celeste arrived. Celeste was confident, polished, and younger. She moved like she belonged everywhere. People greeted her with warmth. Adrian stood a little straighter when she approached. Vivian felt her stomach drop. She smiled politely. She offered her hand. She played her role. But inside she was drowning. That night, in the quiet of a luxury apartment, Vivian stood in front of a mirror and stared at her face. The reflection looked fine. It looked more than fine, but her heart felt like it was falling. She whispered something she had never admitted out loud. If my beauty cannot keep him, then what can? This was the first crack in the illusion. The crack did not open immediately into wisdom. At first it opened into desperation. Vivian tried to compete. She tried to become more impressive. She tried to be more desirable. She tried to anticipate Adrian's moods. She tried to become so perfect that he would have no reason to drift. But perfection is not a shelter. It is a trap. Adrian began traveling more. He blamed work. He blamed stress. He blamed the world. Vivian sensed another truth but could not prove it. And because she could not prove it, her mind filled the gaps with imagination. The imagination tortured her. She checked his social media. She watched his patterns. She searched for signs the way a frightened person searches for exits. One day, Adrian ended it in a way that felt polite and brutal at the same time. He spoke about timing. He spoke about pressure. He spoke about needing space. He used gentle words, but the message was clear. The fortress was gone. Vivian sat in silence after he left. The apartment was beautiful, but it felt empty. The silence was heavy. For the first time in years, she could not distract herself with the chosen feeling. She faced the raw truth of being alone with her own mind. Many people fear this moment, not because being alone is inherently terrible, but because the mind becomes loud when there is no external anesthesia. Without attention, without status, without someone else to orbit, you finally hear your inner state. Vivian tried to fix it the way she always fixed things. She went out. She posted photos. She accepted invitations. She received compliments. She tried to prove to herself and the world that she was still valuable. But the compliments felt like candy that dissolves too fast. Sweet, then gone. And the emptiness returned. This is where the story turns toward practice. Vivian met an older woman named Irene through a mutual acquaintance. Irene was not famous. She was not flashy. She wore simple clothes and carried herself with quiet steadiness. People listened when she spoke, not because she demanded attention, but because she seemed to have something rare: inner peace. Vivian did not trust inner peace. It sounded like something people say when they have given up. But Irene did not seem like someone who gave up. She seemed like someone who had stopped chasing illusions. They spoke after a small gathering. Vivian asked a question that sounded casual but was full of pain. How do you stay calm when life changes? Irene looked at Vivian gently and said something that felt like a door opening. I stopped treating what changes as my home. Vivian frowned. Irene continued. Beauty changes. Influence changes. People change. Even the body changes every day. If you build your identity on what changes, you will live afraid. So the practice is to build your identity on what can deepen: virtue, clarity, compassion, and the ability to return to the present. Vivian wanted to argue, but her heart was tired of arguing. Her heart wanted relief. Irene invited her to sit quietly for 10 minutes the next morning. Vivian almost laughed. 10 minutes sounded useless, but she tried because her old strategy was failing. She sat on her couch with her phone face down. She closed her eyes. The mind immediately began shouting. Thoughts about Adrian, thoughts about the future, thoughts about the past, thoughts about her face, thoughts about Celeste, thoughts about being replaced, thoughts about being humiliated. Vivian opened her eyes after 2 minutes. Her body felt restless. She wanted to run. She wanted to scroll. She wanted to call someone. She wanted to do anything except feel. But Irene had told her this would happen. Irene had said, "Your mind is not your enemy. Your mind is a frightened animal that learned to survive by running. If you want to heal, you teach it that stillness is safe." So Vivian tried again. She took a slow breath, then another, then another. She did not try to force calm. She simply practiced staying. This is how awakening begins in daily life. It begins not with magical insight. but with the willingness to be present with discomfort without turning it into self-hatred. Over weeks, Vivian began to see patterns. She saw that her suffering was not only about Adrian, it was about the story she believed. The story said, "If I am not chosen, I am nothing. If I am not admired, I am unsafe. If I am not young, I am invisible." These beliefs were not facts. They were conditioning. They were karmic seeds planted by repeated experiences and cultural messages. And the moment she saw them clearly, she gained a new kind of power, the power to practice. Vivian asked Irene about Hongyi master. Irene smiled and told her a story. She said that Hongyi master was known not only for his teachings, but for his transformation. He had once lived in the world of art and refinement, then turned toward a life of spiritual discipline. Whether you know every historical detail or not, the symbolic lesson is what matters. A person can shift from chasing external beauty to cultivating inner clarity. A person can put down status and pick up wisdom. Irene said something that stayed with Vivian. External splendor is like a costume. It can be beautiful, but do not confuse costume with soul. When the costume is removed, what remains is your mind and your actions. Vivian began to understand cause and effect more deeply. She began to see that her attention was shaping her reality. When she fed comparison, she suffered. When she fed gratitude, she softened. When she fed obsession, she tightened. When she fed compassion, she breathed. This is the karma of attention. Whatever you water grows. Vivian changed her routines. She stopped starting the day with social media. She began starting the day with breath. She took walks without headphones. She watched the sky. She felt her feet. She noticed how the body carries emotion. She also practiced ethical clarity. She stopped flirting for validation. She stopped manipulating attention. She stopped using beauty as a weapon or a shield. Not because beauty is evil, but because she did not want to be owned by it. This is a subtle but profound shift. Many people think spiritual practice is only about meditation, but in Buddhist training, ethics is the foundation. When your actions align with truth, the mind becomes less conflicted. A less conflicted mind is naturally calmer. Vivian began apologizing to herself for the years she had abandoned her own heart. She began speaking to herself with a tone she had never used before. Gentle but honest. She said, "I see you. I know you were scared. I know you tried to survive. We can learn a new way now." This is compassion, not sentimental softness, but the courage to stop harming yourself. As her inner state shifted, something surprising happened. People responded differently to her. She was still beautiful, but the beauty felt less like a performance and more like a natural expression. She was less desperate, so she was less manipulous. She was less hungry for approval, so she was less controlled by the moods of others. This is the paradox. When you stop clinging to what you have, you can finally enjoy it. When you stop using beauty as your identity, beauty becomes a simple attribute. When you stop using power as your shelter, power becomes a tool rather than a prison. Vivian also saw Adrian differently. She saw that he was not a monster. He was a person wrapped in his own attachments. He needed to feel superior. He needed to feel admired. He needed control. And because he needed those things, he could not love in a stable way. His love would always shift toward whatever fed his need. Seeing this did not excuse harm, but it freed Vivian from the need to make him the center of her story. That is another form of awakening, releasing a person from the throne inside your mind. Months later, Vivian encountered Celeste at a different event. Celeste greeted her politely. Vivian felt a small spark of old pain. Then she breathed and let it pass. She realized something almost funny. Celeste was not her enemy. Time was not her enemy. The mirror was not her enemy. Her enemy had been attachment, the grip that demanded life stay fixed. Vivian smiled at Celeste with genuine calm. They spoke briefly. Celeste seemed surprised, as if she expected rivalry. But rivalry only exists when two people are competing for the same illusion. Vivian returned home that night and sat in stillness again. She noticed that her mind was quieter. Not silent, but quieter. The difference was not that life had become perfect. The difference was that her inner home had become stronger. This is the kind of protection beauty and power cannot provide. Inner stability. Now let us widen the lens, because this story is not only about Vivian. It is about all of us, because we all cling to something. Some people cling to youth. Some cling to wealth. Some cling to reputation. Some cling to being right. Some cling to being needed. Some cling to control. Some cling to romance. Some cling to success. Some cling to the image of being a good person. Clinging always creates fear, because what you cling to can be lost. The practice is not to reject the world. The practice is to enjoy the world without letting it own you. This is the middle way. Not indulgence, not denial, not obsession, not neglect, presence. A practical way to begin is to notice what triggers your fear. When you feel threatened, ask yourself quietly, what am I clinging to right now? What am I afraid of losing? Then breathe in, soften the body. The body is the first place fear lands. If you calm the body, the mind becomes easier to guide. Another practice is to remember impermanence in a friendly way. Impermanence is not meant to depress you. It is meant to wake you up to what matters. If everything changes, then kindness matters, integrity matters, attention matters. The way you treat people matters. The way you treat yourself matters. Hongyi master is often remembered as someone who turned away from worldly refinement towards spiritual discipline. Whether you interpret that historically, symbolically, or personally, the lesson is clear. A person can turn. A person can wake up. A person can trade performance for practice. And when you do, your destiny changes through cause and effect. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because your choices become wiser. When choices become wiser, consequences become kinder. When consequences become kinder, life feels gentler. I want to share something personal in the way a storyteller shares, not to claim specialness, but to show you that this lesson is human. There was a time when I cared too much about being seen a certain way. I wanted to appear confident. I wanted to appear successful. I wanted to appear unshaken. And the more I tried to appear unshaken, the more shaken I felt inside. The turning point was not a dramatic event. It was a quiet exhaustion. I realized that my image was costing me my peace. That realization did not solve everything instantly, but it opened the door to practice. I began returning to breath. I began returning to simple actions done with presence. I began letting go of the need to be impressive in every moment. And slowly, life became calmer, not because I gained more power, but because I needed less approval. I have seen friends go through similar shifts. A friend who built their identity on career success lost a job and felt like their world ended. But after months of rebuilding, they discovered a steadier self that did not depend on titles. They became kinder, more patient, and strangely more attractive to life. Opportunities returned, but now they were received with less desperation. Another friend who built their identity on beauty faced aging with terror. They tried every product, every procedure, every trend, and still the fear remained. Eventually, they began practicing acceptance and inner cultivation. They started volunteering. They started mentoring. They started living for meaning. And they told me something that felt like wisdom. My face changed, but my heart finally opened. That is the real point. The heart can open more as time passes. If you practice, beauty can fade, but compassion can grow. Power can shift, but wisdom can deepen. Reputation can change, but integrity can stabilize. So if you are watching and you feel fear underneath your pursuit of beauty, or fear underneath your pursuit of power, I want you to hear this gently. You are not wrong for wanting good things. You are only suffering because you are asking temporary things to do an eternal job. Let beauty be beauty, but do not make it your home. Let power be a tool, but do not make it your identity. Build your home inside. Build it with practice. Practice looks like breath when you are triggered. Practice looks like truthful speech when you want to manipulate. Practice looks like boundaries when you want to please. Practice looks like kindness when you want revenge. Practice looks like humility when you want to dominate. Practice looks like returning again and again to the present. Now let us close the story with the simplest and most useful question. If everything you are proud of today could change tomorrow, what would you want to remain? Most people, when they are honest, want the same things. They want a peaceful mind. They want a warm heart. They want relationships built on sincerity. They want the dignity of living without self-betrayal. Those things do not come from beauty alone. They do not come from power alone. They come from cultivation. Now, I want to invite you to share in the comments. What is the thing you most fear losing right now? And what practice helps you loosen the grip? When you share, you might help someone else feel less alone in their own attachment. If you want more long-form stories like this, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and stay with us. And if you want to support deeper teachings and keep these longer scripts coming, consider becoming a member. Your support helps this channel keep building content that is not just entertaining, but genuinely useful for real life. Until next time, breathe slowly, loosen the grip, and come back to the part of you that cannot be taken away. Life gets noisy. Work, stress, expectations. Sometimes we lose touch with the quiet part of ourselves. Bracelet isn't just an accessory. It's a small reminder that you deserve peace. You deserve moments of stillness. You deserve to hold on to your inner balance. If one of these bracelets speaks to your heart, you'll find the purchase link in the description below. And even more auctions available on our channel's shop page. Pick home the one that feels right.